Hear ye, hear ye. This might be the last week that we get the King in a Titans uniform, and that kind of makes me sad to some extent, and happy to another extent. So we'll talk about that. And I'm not sure if you guys have looked at it, but this week is an exciting fantasy slate. Like, it is lots of good games, good teams, good plays. We're going to get Tuttle's reaction to some of his terrible takes. We're going to get Davis and everything he has to offer, and then there's Pete. So stick around. It's a Swolecast here, week 8 here on rotogrinders.com.
Are you Davis Mattek from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand content.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right, we're going to be living a little on this show. Again, welcome in. Hit that like button, the subscribe button. We're still on the road to 10K. Leave us a comment. Comments have been really nice lately. We do appreciate it. We appreciate everyone.
Have they? I haven't read a comment in a while.
No, they've been good. And people have actually, they enjoy the FanDuel bit as far as us like doing a FanDuel lineup, even though you guys don't even have access to your account. How did Levitan do last week on FanDuel?
I think I clicked the article and I did the thing where I just scrolled down to his number, and I think it said like 51.3% of head-to-head. So, nice little ROI there.
51% ROI?
No, I mean, he won 51% of his head-to-head.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah. 1% ROI.
Probably less than that with the rate. So, all right, we're going to be talking about this week. Let's just get out of the way first, though. I look a little flushed. It's because I had an intense pickleball game before this Swolecast. And I haven't looked at a ton of stuff this week. The good news is that this is the premier first look show. So we're giving people an honest glimpse into this week as we also dive into it. And that's why people love the show. So I just really think you just set the table. It's going to be a good show for everyone.
I don't know if you guys have felt this lately, but it's dawned on me like a few times on Sundays or even right after lock where I can legit not even remember what we talked about or how I felt about the plays on a Wednesday. Like I remember my Friday takes a bit, but like Wednesday, it feels like 2 weeks in the rearview mirror.
I have to go back and look at either a lineup that we put in or like I have to rewind the show just to see what our lineup was. And oh man, those are some pretty good plays. Those are some pretty good takes. And then a couple of them, obviously, it's like, I'm not sure about that one. Like Irv Smith Jr. Bounce back week, a couple weeks ago didn't happen. Oof. So you live and you learn and you live a little. As far as how you guys are doing this week, just on a personal level, Tuttle, how are you?
I'm doing well.
NBA is back.
Yeah, thankfully don't have to do too much with that. We got UCL today. We got college football, still mid-season grind there. Thankfully, I guess we're switching from like Conference USA midweeks to the MACtion, I think next week, which
so much better.
Is a welcome surprise because I mean, you can only take Sam Houston State on a Wednesday night.
There's only so much I have to say about the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers,
Exactly. So happy for that change. It's a bit of a grind, but like I said, thankfully not doing as much with NBA this year, so that makes it a little easier.
I mean, that makes me happy and sad at the same time because I think last year with NBA, you also crushed. For those that don't know, Tuttle is like he's the other pro player, pro DFS player on here. And the guy just runs it up. And I think NBA is probably the one he runs it up in the most. Would that be an accurate statement? Even though you hate NBA, that's the one you run it up in the most.
I don't know. I'm kind of on board with the whole sentiment of NBA sucks now. NBA DFS is terrible. It takes so like I used to have time for it.
Yeah.
But with an increased role at the old corporate,
Yeah.
I can't foresee it happening. It's like you have to put in a lot of time.
Plus, when you started playing, you were just like you didn't have any kids, and now you have 5.
Yeah, that adds to it, having to help with the baby and like actually do school pickup and stuff. Yeah. That makes it a little hard. And everyone, it's the time of the year where everyone is sick.
You can't be waiting on the Ursan Ilyasova news when your kid has to go to soccer practice.
Yeah.
It is a funny battle on Twitter right now where you have, Ricky D waging the war of don't play NBA, boycott it. And then you got petty theft out here, trying to say this is still the sport for the ball knowers and all of that. Then you get the sim guys chiming in being like, no, we have new tools. It's actually not a huge lift to be good at it there. So it is, I enjoy watching it from a distance as someone who is not going to grind NBA DFS.
Shout out to friend of the show, Ricky, for shipping the million last week. Or actually, no, didn't ship the million. He split it. So 600,000.
He topped it with a non-Duke team. He DM'd me and said, I won the Millionaire Maker. Do I get to come on the Swolecast now? And I said, open invite, buddy. You can come whenever you want.
Yeah.
In our private chat, we were talking about it. He got first and fourth, right? And he chopped both teams.
Yeah.
And so the initial thought was, man, you didn't play it optimally, man. You didn't you duped. But they were non-dupe teams, and
non-dupe chop is so weird.
Incredible.
He had plenty of reason to complain too. He was looking at I forget what it was, what the 2v2 was. It was like Kincaid and somebody else that he had to beat with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
And like he has reason to complain that he chopped. Not that he's complaining over like 900,000 in winnings, but still.
Shout out to other friend of the show and former millionaire as well, Chess Liam, for Dalton Kincaid and being back. So.
Dude, his Twitter account has just been
it's so
the
bad
Kincaid.
now.
It is good.
He's just the
there
Kincaid
he is.
tracker.
Who cannot
That's
be
all it
except
is.
for
Like
Will Levis.
it's just like, the Bills are really looking to get Kincaid involved on this drive. Like no one has ever been so happy for his team's starting tight end to get injured than Liam when he realized that Dawson Knox is going to be out.
Did you guys see his back and forth with Brian Burke from ESPN on Twitter?
No,
this happened.
Guys, this is the most classic Liam interaction you will ever see. So, ESPN made like their open score and a lot of their wide receiver statistics. They made a new web page for him, and now they're easy to sort through. And Liam is asking Brian Burke like how he can take the stats at face value. He's like, if someone you're comparing tight ends to wide receivers, and I'm like, I know where this is going. Sure enough, he hits him with, is Dalton Kincaid a better pass catcher than Stephon Diggs? And then Brian Burke has to get in the weeds and tell him why he shouldn't make that conclusion from it. So Liam, he is leaning into this bit about exclusively talking about Dalton Kincaid to just an absurd degree. It's reaching like our Patrick Laird bit levels at this point of just exclusively talking about one guy nonstop around the clock.
He said he does it for the show, and he's tuning in right now. So good for him. Larry C says, Deshaun out. Is that official? Is he out? I saw he wasn't practicing today.
I think they.
Yeah, PJ Walker is announced starter.
Liam was touting.
I feel bad for
Kincaid and Levis. I was touting Deshaun Watson. So
couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Just feeling really bummed for him. Yeah, just
such a nice guy.
At this point, I now buy the conventional narrative that he just doesn't want to play. He's like, I got my money. It's all good. We're not going to win anything. So we're just vibing.
Okay, let's go ahead and get in the overview because we have a lot we have to talk about today. So with that being said, it's the Overzet's overview.
Got that dog in her butt. Got that dog in her butt. Overzet's overview. Come on.
All right, Overzet's overview. I am Peter Overzet, and this is the overview. I'm now coming off of back-to-back weeks of playing a 50% plus owned running back in tournaments. I don't even know who I am anymore, but thankfully, Chalktober is almost over. Next week when we do this show, it'll be November 1st. We actually still need to talk, guys. Are we going to be doing a Halloween themed show on November 1st next week? But I am looking forward to moving on from Chalktober to No Sims Vember. I believe is what they're calling it. No Sims Vember, where we all abstain from talking about or using Sims. The Swolecast lineup that we made last week on DraftKings, it sucked because we galaxy brained using Sam Laporta instead of Mark Andrews with Lamar Jackson. You know, who knew that?
I want it on the record. I was not okay with that. I thought it was stupid. I just want that on the record.
Yeah, it is literally on the record. You can go back and watch it. This led to whoever makes Clay Matthews lineups on DraftKings beating us by 14 points. His lineup beat us by 14 points. But then I looked at the lineup and saw that he played a naked Geno Smith with the Seahawks defense. So maybe he is making his own lineups in this contest, but beat us by 14 points. So tip of the cap, Clay. Davis Mattek spent his Monday afternoon and now apparently Wednesday afternoon sending me dynasty trade offers.
Oh, no.
In between. Yeah, it's getting bad, guys. In between refreshing the Bitcoin chart, this kid is stuck in 2017. You just got to let it go, Davis. Dynasty trades. Although Davis,
this is the only week where we can do them. We got 5 days to do the trades.
So, Davis, do you know that I went to click accept on one of them and you had revoked it? Do you know which one it was?
I didn't revoke it. Someone else just accepted it for the same players.
He tried to send me, he was giving me Bateman for my guy LaVisca Chenault in a random 3rd round pick. I went to click it and I missed out on the trade. All right. The Titans are likely starting Will Levis this week, and reports are coming out of Tennessee that David Kitchen and Eric Decker will be leading an extra long prayer circle at church this week. Heard you guys are going to glass.
Traylon might. Traylon should be there every week because he's not on the field.
That's right. Back at practice this week. Come on, Traylon, get us going here. Actually, producer Sosa, I got to share a screen for this next thing here. Let me get it in the hopper down here. Here it is. This is from our buddy Dan Gaspar, Mr. Tuttle05's Twitter account. Tuttle's 5-year-old recently put together a clickbait listicle of 3 things he likes. Number 1 was sloss. Number 2 was pizza. Number 3 was later deciphered to be YouTube. And it made me think, Tuttle, it's only a matter of time before he finds all of your terrible takes buried 55 minutes into all of these Swolecast episodes. It's going to be a tough combo for you.
Legit have been there where I've got my account synced to the TV and they're like, Dad, you're on TV. And I'm like, no, you are not thinking that.
I think it's cool that you're on YouTube and then they realize that only 10 people have viewed your video and then it goes down.
Sarah saw Davis's thumbnail and said, that was the guy that paid me 0 attention when I was little. So
I know it's a hard conversation to tell your kid that you need to grade our views on a fantasy football curve and not compare it to Mr. Beast. It's like, please don't compare these videos to Mr. Beast. All right, let's see here. In week 8, we don't have a single total over 47. The Jets Giants New York Suck Bowl has a total of 36.5, as does the Falcons Titans. Why the hell did we ever employ Arthur Smith Bowl? We all love DFS. It's fun and easy and brings us so much joy. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, the Arthur Smith, remember, he was offensive coordinator for the Titans. So at a time where the Titans are tanking and Arthur's maybe tanking, we don't know what he's doing. The whole Bijan thing last week was wild. Yeah. Absolutely wild. Seeing that in real time, and just there was a part of me, obviously I didn't have any Bijan in my lineups, but the sadistic part of me was just wanting to see everyone else's pain and just searching for Bijan and doing like recent Twitter lists just to see everyone just tilting so hard about Bijan. It was cathartic.
Gretch wrote like 20,000 words about Arthur Smith and Bijan this week.
Yes. Jonnu Smith revenge narrative time. Yes. And we don't know what's going to come out of this Titans offense. We really don't. They say that Malik Willis might also play. So who knows? King Henry and Nuke. Go ahead, Pete.
Jonnu had a really nice pick'em entry. It was like over 30 yards. He had like 23 yards on the first drive and then just disappeared that entire game. So I was one of the few people who was angry about Arthur Smith, about Jonnu Smith, and not.
All right. Let's talk about the quarterback position, Davis. You got Patrick Mahomes at Denver. but
Well,
he's
yeah,
really,
I mean, it's
really expensive.
I got a good Facebook dad joke here. It's a conflict of interest for Patrick Mahomes to play against the Denver Broncos since he is a partial owner of that organization. That's a good bit.
That looks like something you see on an Instagram like real screenshot from Reddit or whatever.
Yes, literally, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes is, I think, anytime he's on a slate, he has the ability to completely break it, especially now that you can stack him with not only Kelsey, but I think Rashee Rice is playing enough that you can just use him straight up. I think it's been my take like every slate that Rashee Rice has been on. Sadly, I think the people are going to have caught on to it now. But I mean, Lamar is the story here. Lamar,
and we called that last week too. Like credit to us. He was in both of our.
No one was on it. No one knows
both of our
Lamar's
lineups
good for fantasy.
Only the Swolecast.
Lamar is part of our
Swolecast.
DFS tree.
Well, here's the thing. You do laugh a little bit, but I played in week 3 a 0.5% on Lamar Jackson in the SPY. So people are not 100% sold on the Lamar stuff. Obviously, the reason why people played him last week because there were bringbacks. I think you can use. I think the Cash Bros are going to finally be done with Marquise Brown after yet another air ball. So maybe there's a little bit of leverage there to play with him this week. But, I don't know what people are going to be doing with the Dolphins. Like Jalen Waddle's banged up. No one thinks the Patriots are going to be able to score to hang with them. So, David, it might be a week where we get to do your favorite thing. We get to go absolutely dumpster diving with Purdy, with Pickett. We do have a $6,100 Dak Prescott. I'm going to guess that Dak ends up being the cash slappy quarterback. I mean, obviously it's Wednesday. It's a first look show. But my guess is that the cash slappies are going to have Dak. And if the cash slappies have Dak, that means that whatever his ownership projection is right now is probably about 5% too low.
So Jalen Hurts, Brad Moore says Jalen Hurts is the play. Washington.
No, Lamar is the play. I mean, obviously Hurts is a great play, but
I don't know. Jalen feels like so much built-in equity for this. I don't even want to say the term, but you guys know what it is. When they went for it,
I'll tell my child to earmuff.
Tush push. When they went for it on their own 25 from 4th and 1, and then again like on their own 40 in the fourth quarter, that's when you know it's sick. Like, but if they get on the 1 yard line, like AJ was a few inches within scoring, and as soon as he gets down, if they don't get it in the end zone, it's going to be Jalen Hurts' touchdown.
Is what you're saying is you're one of the people shaking your fist at like the league saying you got to fix this? Okay.
No, I'm saying he has built-in equity. So I just don't know that Lamar is definitely the option over Jalen Hurts this week for $400 less. I want to get your take on it. Tuttle, let's start with you since you have a heart out.
I mean, as long as I can rack up more Skolansky bucks by jamming in Devontae Smith and his 5 catches for 50 yards with Jalen Hurts, then I'm all for it. While AJ Brown goes off for 125 yards for the 6th grade.
Well, I got good news for you. The Skolanskys will continue this week.
Yeah. What are the thoughts on these beta receivers? Not just talking about him, but also Waddle, also T. Higgins, like these guys that we were drafting in the second round.
Calvin Ridley.
Like T. I feel like putting T in with these guys is like even an insult to these guys though. Like he's been next level. Bad.
Right. But he still was a second round pick in our draft. So that's what I'm kind of saying is that these secondary options have not panned out at all.
Well, it's got to happen eventually, right?
Well, right. I will say, I was thinking about that today where you were thinking about like, you think about at the playoffs last year where people were starting to say, is Devontae Smith the 1A in this offense?
I remember
and AJ Brown.
Yep.
And now AJ Brown's completely separated. And then you look at, say, Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, where no one gave Jacoby Myers a chance even to be. And now you could say that he's legit like the 1A right now in that offense, how he's earning targets. It is crazy how that flips so quickly.
All right. Mahomes and Tua, do they enter the conversation at all for you, Peter?
I think Tua definitely for tournaments. I'm not a cash bro, but 7-7 for cash seems kind of outrageous. But yeah, I mean, they have the highest total on the slate, the highest team total I think we see week in and week out Tua with one of the running backs and with Tyreek just continue to smash. So I don't know how you can ever just fully write off Tua here, specifically at home. This is a nice spot. I get a little more worried when they're on the road at New England. So yeah, I'm not scared of this New England team, even though they gave Bills fits last week.
Okay, we're not playing Geno versus Cleveland. Dak against the Rams after last week. Feels like he's running the ball, or he ran the ball more last week, obviously. Thoughts on Dak or anybody else that you guys like for week 8?
Davis mentioned Dak already a little bit. I agree with Davis's take that he'll be higher owned than he'll grab steam throughout the week, I guess is the best way to say it. Yeah. He's kind of right in that price range. Nobody really wants to play Brock Purdy, right? Like nobody
no. After that Monday night game, I think you're going to get a discount on him relative to if that game wasn't on prime time.
And he's kind of showing up as the other guy in that price range that people could play. So like Dak, I
Burrow
think
is
some ownership. Burrow will be the
$100
GPP play.
Yeah,
he'll be the GPP bro. Dak will be like the cash game option, and then Burrow will be the double stack GPP guy.
We should mention, I mean, this is an awesome spot for CJ Stroud, but just because of where he's priced, he's going to go really overlooked at 6,300 because people are going to be like, it feels like more of like a 5,900 play to me. So I think he's an awesome tournament play. You can just score on Carolina in a variety of ways. And Carolina's been good in garbage time too, where they can, continue to sling it and hang around. So I like that play.
All right.
Adam Thielen, just we're paying
no
Jalen Waddle prices for Adam Thielen.
Should I should fall on the sword and play Adam Thielen for the first time in DFS this week, and just to mush him just once and for all. I should finally get on the trade.
Gosh, I did go back and look. It was a bad week for me. I did go back and look at my blindfold team.
How bad of a week it was
to see, and I did draft Adam.
Bad week when you're looking at the blindfold team.
I did draft Adam Thielen on that team.
Of course you did.
And just the responses to it. Some might say I was the one pumping the bag. So anything that I have winning right now has a Thielen on it in best ball. DraftKings lineup. Davis, let's start with you.
Wow. All right. I will start with Breece Hall at $5,900 against the New York Football Giants.
Ooh.
Okay. Coming off. Did they have a bye week last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to toss this one this week. We do get the 5K Royal Caribbean Weekend Throwdown back.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the Royal Caribbean? Isn't there one that like what are they known for? What's that cruise line known for?
Cruises?
Was it the one where they had like a huge like plumbing issue? And there's a bunch of like vomit and shit, or I might be mistaking.
That might have been it. I don't know. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to talk.
I feel like if you're a cruise line and you haven't had some kind of massive scandal, a COVID outbreak, getting hijacked by Somalia pirates, like, are you even relevant if you haven't had a major scandal? Yeah,
you got to create one.
All right. So Pete, did you have a play that you wanted to...
No, I just want to talk about cruise lines.
Cruises,
actually never been on a cruise.
What?
No,
I never have either.
Kitchen, you strike me as someone who would like love.
I was gonna say Kitchen is literally
he would dress up as
senior year Bahamas, and then I've also been on an Alaskan cruise, and
Alaskan cruise sounds fine. Like I've always wanted to do a Scandinavian cruise, but like the just going to the warm weather cruise stuff never sounded too appealing.
That's totally Kitchen though. I can see it. Just
Kitchen that is made for him.
Ship.
Oh, the buffets, everything.
You would be the guy that like would get early to like the free entertainment magic show at night. Let's get a front row seat, girls.
Oh god.
I mean, Disney is on the list.
All right. We play the best plays around here, right? Is that what we do?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's put Jordan Addison in. Way too cheap
Okay.
at 5,700.
I was going to ask about him. It feels like he's going to be chalky on every single site this week.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Good play.
Okay. Tuttle.
We haven't had picked a quarterback yet, huh?
Mm-mm.
No.
Everyone passes that buck these days. They don't want the responsibility.
Yeah, it hasn't been fun. Is Pickett actually going to be owned here?
No.
Some of the
There's
early
no-
stuff.
4,900. Yeah, it's just you don't really need to do it this week though, because they're just a bunch of $5,500 to $6,500 good plays.
Yeah.
Pickett with Pickens
go-
is fun though.
I know Pickett with Pickens, even Deontay in there is only 5K. I like the Stroud take, so let's
Nice.
go with him.
Do you have a stacking preference?
I do not.
You just want the Thielen bring back?
I was
Dell,
giving you
Dell.
that layup, Kitchen.
Dell
I
is
do
the
like,
stacking
yeah,
partner.
tank returning from concussion or whatever.
Yeah, I've been. I mean, the price difference isn't that big between him and Nico. I like both, but I don't know if it's like super obvious, right?
I mean,
I'm fine with either.
let's pair him with Schultz.
No.
Well, you could double
actually
it, but
okay
I
with
think you
that,
want
too.
one of the wide receivers if Stroud's, tossing for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever.
Stroud, 10 targets, 7 targets, 65 yards, 61 yards, touchdown the past 3 games.
It is a pretty good slate for tight ends though, too.
Yeah, it is.
We said that last week.
And
it
it
was
was
National Tight Ends
we
Week.
were
double
completely right.
tight
Yeah.
end won the Millie Maker.
And it was. There's your narrative. Okay.
No one loves the random marketing that they came up with more than David. Like David just like eating up this tight end National Tight End Day stuff is so bizarre to me.
Why?
I just don't get it. I don't get where you're coming from.
You don't get where I'm coming from?
Like,
I
why,
enjoy-
like, why does this random marketing thing that the NFL did to you? Why is it so effective?
This is where you're wrong. It's a study in like tribalism, right? And these tight ends, they were not getting the due credit. And so they formed this. The NFL did not cause this. And so
What is
these tight
tribalism?
ends-
What are the two tribes?
well, the tribes would be the tight ends. It's a
I
position.
don't get what's happening here.
I don't get it either.
The tribes would be the tight ends.
The tight
The
ends
tribes
are
are-
the
the tribes are the
closest
tight
knit
ends.
group. They're the closest knit group because of tight end U. They all love each other. They hang out. They do a training camp. What other position skill group does this? None.
And you're saying in their big group chat, the tight end group chat, they said, you know what? We're all sick of sucking. Let's all have one good week on National Tight
Let's
End
get
Day.
ours. Let's get ours.
Okay.
I legit said last week that I wanted to go to tight end U this year. Like this was like it is a goal for me to go to tight end U. I think it's awesome.
We
By
got
the way, Dave,
15
what are
more
your
minutes
thoughts
with Tuttle.
on the blind side? The blind side drama
Good
From
question.
last
With-
year?
with Michael Orr.
Yeah, from last year.
That's relatively recent, right?
No, it's from last year. It was like from the
No.
spring
It's
and
not that
summer.
old.
Yeah,
It's
I would
it's not that old.
It's not that
it
old.
is old. It's from spring and summer. I love Sandra Bullock. I think she got
She's
the
my
wrong.
grandpa's favorite.
All right,
actress.
we are off the rails.
We're off
We
the
need-
rails.
We
All
need-
right, so
For
did we pick
15 more
anybody?
minutes.
Sosa put in Dell tank, so that's what we're going
That's
with.
fine.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's back to Davis. Or did Kitchen?
Yeah, it's
Kitchen,
fine.
did you get a pick?
Kitchen did not make a pick. I'll just go ahead and take another running back. I will take Bijan Robinson, running back for the Atlanta
Wow.
Falcons. You're gonna hear this week, if you're a consumer of fantasy sports content, you're gonna hear this a lot. Bijan Robinson at $6,000 is very interesting. Now, I don't think I can go there in cash, but in tournaments against a team playing a rookie quarterback I think we could see each running back get over 15 carries here against the Titans. You're going to hear a lot of that.
Is it that your exact reason for putting him in this lineup?
It's literally going to be, it's like I'm doing the show with Jacob tomorrow morning, and I'm like, I've already got it all prepped out. I know exactly what to say.
Can I give a gross take that I'm not going to put in here? But this guy was once touted as the next Josh Jacobs. Cam Akers is becoming the alpha play in Minnesota. Yes, he is.
Oh, bad. The guy who was losing snaps to Ty Chandler on Monday Night
He
Football.
is.
Get out of here.
No,
Get out of here.
he was getting snaps in the second half.
Because Madison got
You don't know
banged up.
ball. Pete, you do not know ball if you don't think that.
David,
Akers-
I'm sorry, but no one knows less ball than you. Like if there was a
I don't
chart
know
of
ball, but it's not because of my Cam Akers takes. I'll tell you that.
Davis, it's gonna happen, and it's not just because of the Akers bags that I have. It's because
what if the Rams send a conditional 6th round pick to get him back? Have you thought about it?
I didn't even check JJ's 15 transactions column this week, but I bet Cam Akers was on it. All right, Tuttle.
I'm still worried about us having to worry about sportsbooks colluding with the NFL to only get Bijan Robinson to carry at the end of the game. I don't know if I can trust him in our lineup here.
That's so good.
Void it. Void it.
Void the bets. All right,
Void it,
what do we need?
FanDuel.
I haven't even been paying attention. What do we need here? We need another wide receiver, a tight end, or a D. Is where we're at. 5,300 each. Do we have any bringbacks yet? David didn't bring back Thielen.
I think we
No.
should just
No,
eat it
he's
with
so
Thielen.
expensive.
Yeah, we're doing it. 66. That's,
gotta
isn't
push
that
him.
a price decrease? No, he's
No,
not.
it's
You know
not.
what?
I was thinking about
You know
like
what?
the 8,300 tag on FanDuel.
No, wait till I'm sorry. I did look at salaries. He's only 6,600 on DraftKings, but on FanDuel,
yeah,
I think he's like
that's the
300
confusion.
less than Tyreek. Like it is that absurd.
Good for
He should
FanDuel.
be, though,
Good
right?
for FanDuel for recognizing
Yeah.
how good Adam Thielen is.
His greatness. We're bringing him back in this lineup.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a. Can we play Christian McCaffrey in this lineup?
Probably not.
What happens if we put McBride in at tight end?
Then you
That
can play
certainly
McCaffrey.
would have to happen to unlock McCaffrey. And then if you do
McBride.
McCaffrey, you got 2,600. Yeah, you can.
We go
Okay.
McBride and we play the Patriots defense.
Yeah, Trey McBride, and then
Well, we have 2,600. We
Yeah,
could
we
do,
just Vikings, against
Vikings
Jordan Love.
defense.
yeah.
Oh, light work. Oh my God, Tuttle. Jordan Love, how fast are you ready to get that dude out of town? I mean, that was one of the worst performances I have ever seen from a quarterback.
I don't know. Have you seen the what's the backup? Kurt Benincourt?
Yeah,
he was sending some tweets about the defending Jordan Love's honor. I'm kind of with him here. Obviously not set up for success. I'm not like a hardcore Packers fan. That should be known. I just live in Wisconsin, and so by association, I'm kind of a Green Bay
Please.
Packers fan.
You went to the
I've been to one
Niners,
single game in my
Green-
life.
Niners Green Bay game and negative, the coldest ever playoff game, and you were there.
Yeah, and Colin Kaepernick just ran all over us. I remember that. Well.
tough scenes.
But yeah, I mean, it's a young team. Like he's not good. He's probably never going to be good. But not being put in very good situations either is kind of the whole point. But as it relates to the slate, yeah, Vikings defense is fine here against him.
All right. Quickly, let's talk about running back.
I
Starting
don't
with
really
Christian
think-
McCaffrey.
I don't really think we can do it that cheap because there are just a bunch of jams. Although this is the funniest thing I have ever seen, which is that if you sort by points per dollar on your favorite DFS projection side of choice, you're probably going to get Joe. Oh, you're for sure going to get Joe Mixon as
Mixon.
one of the
Yeah.
top 3 plays.
Mixon
Like-
and Pacheco.
Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris. Just let it go. People, we can let it go. There are enough good young running backs in the NFL that we can just let it go.
Pacheco almost didn't get there last week. Fumbled on that drive.
I mean, you
They
know
didn't have
what the
enough
deal
evidence
is
to
with
overturn it.
Pacheco. You're
Davis,
not
did you
playing
mean to
Pacheco.
include Tony Pollard in that batch?
Oh, don't,
Just
dude.
lost his burst, obviously.
Honestly, yeah,
couldn't
like
break away.
we just went all through that stuff. I didn't think about clicking on Tony Pollard. Like
rest of
he's
season, Davis, Tony Pollard or Alvin Kamara.
Kamara's very dusty too. Like the second they stop throwing him the ball 14 times,
He's
a game,
actual dust.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
going to zero really fast. So I'll say Pollard, Kamara. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't play Kamara or that he's not a good player or whatever, but
You're
I'll
playing
still
him
say
negative
Pollard.
game script because
I
mean,
prefer him in
again,
PPR formats. I
Yeah.
do feel
Is there a
comfortable.
Imagine
reason for
you're
that?
the
Is
guy-
that like
you're
You're the
50
guy
targets
who's got
per week?
Kamara in a standard league, and you're like, great, I got 7 points at Alvin Kamara.
All right. Running backs that you like this week, Tuttle?
I mean, I don't know. There's much. Who has what's the down low? I haven't even looked on the Colts. Is Taylor finally pulling away at all yet? In snap
They were
counts,
like
or what's
dead
going on?
50-50 last week, but Taylor's running all the routes. So he's getting schemed. And the Colts are number 1 in the NFL in dropbacks per game and total plays per game in the Minshew games.
Yeah, I could
So
see him
pretty
in
good.
tournaments if snaps are trending his direction and routes. I don't know what else. DeAndre Swift always in play.
Another guy who's kind of dust, Kareem Hunt.
Didn't practice today.
He's probably
but-
pretty good because Pierce Strong stinks. He's really aggressively not that good.
And they just do not have a lot.
On the road. I know Kareem Hunt will catch some passes. He should, yeah, he'll probably consolidate volume, but that is a pretty gross spot on the road. PJ Walker at Seahawks there. I don't know if we have to get that gross this week.
Okay.
No,
Like,
there
would you
are-
rather
there are
play
s-
Damian Pierce than Kareem Hunt?
I mean,
against
we've
the
got
Panthers?
Pollard, Brees, Swift, Bijan, Hunt, McCaffrey, DeMarcado is $4,800. You know, Pacheco. Like there are a lot of plays to have to get before you go there.
Do you trust DeMarcado?
No, but he's 4,800. So like I trust him more than I would have trusted Zach Evans.
Can we just get some more Rondale handoffs? Can that be a
That's
thing?
fun. Yeah.
It is fun. Pete, do you want Rondale in our dynasty league? You can have him 3rd round pick. He's yours. You want him?
No.
That's
I
a
played
deal.
Keontae Ingram last week over Donta Foreman in my home league.
Did
and it was
Keontae
solid.
Ingram get a touch?
No,
No, he only played special teams.
and no one. That's probably when I was searching for the Bijan stuff because I wanted to.
David, that is such a sad sack story. The issue is I can tell you that I played Michael Wilson over Donta Foreman in a league as well. So you're not alone. You're not alone. We are Legion.
All right. Pollard though against the Rams. Does anybody want to go there?
No, I mean you want to talk about
the
it.
Pollard hate, Davis. This is you like I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, you're way more of like a Cowboys fan than I am a Packers fan.
I
But,
am
like,
not
fans
a
get the
Cowboys fan.
sense of-
I abandoned them. I gave them
No,
up, dude.
see, this is it. You get like this pessimist. You like assume the worst. This is a good spot for Pollard.
A good bit, Davis,
It's
would be
not
if you
us.
had like the Donna Kelsey, like half Eagles, half Chiefs, and it was your half Chiefs, half Cowboys, but then you got rid of the Cowboys. So it's just black on that side, and then Chiefs is just half on the other side.
It'd be half Hardman, half Pollard. By the way, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that Pat had his best game of the year when he got his buddy McCole back in the lineup. I do want to go on the record as saying I don't think that's a coincidence.
This is as
Will we
flimsy
see
as
his role increase
the tight end
into, like-
national tight end day. You cling to your own narratives, Davis.
Well, I don't know if it's been widely reported outside of non-Chiefs people, but Justin Ross just beat up his girlfriend and is probably
Yeah,
going to
that's bad.
jail. So
Oof.
No, it was reported.
that's 10 snaps a game. I hope they cut him. I hope they get rid of him.
course.
But yeah, so that's like 10 routes a game that someone's got to take. And that, I mean, Rashi's pretty much already at a full plate. So yeah, I do think Hardman's role will increase.
As a Kadarius Toney owner, whenever they forced the ball into Kelsey last week on the goal line when Toney was wide open, I felt that. All right,
Sounds
let's
like
move
you had
on.
a rough weekend, Dave.
I did. This is why I was looking at blindfolded teams.
Everyone flag plant one mid-tier running back. Let's try and give some the people some helpful. I will
Actionable.
flag plant Brees Hall. I think
Brees is a good pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Solid
Brees is
pick.
awesome.
You just picked like the best one.
There's like 10 of
Tuttle-
them right there, though.
Tuttle already started talking about mine. Jonathan Taylor, 6
Yeah.
I played him last
Taylor's
week.
good
He was
too.
1%. I'll be going back there again.
I guess I'll take
Mine's going to be
Bijan.
between Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor.
Where do you get your
What
ideas?
if,
You have to
what
do
if
your
we're talking
own,
about all
David.
these guys and Mixon is the guy they go?
Oh, it's gonna happen. Just take Mixon, David.
Yeah, I'll take I'll take Ramondre against Miami. Let's get him some pass catching work. Hope that Zeke doesn't vulture any touchdowns. He's 5,400, so give me Ramondre.
Has Ramondre been like? I mean, I assume so. Just like the clear pass catching back.
Zeke gets a
They're
little pass
alternating
catching work.
drives. They're alternating
Well-
drives as well.
well, last week
though, 20.
Last week
of
was weird because
37.
they were winning the whole game, and so he wasn't really needed until that last drive where he racked up 2 catches.
Yeah, Zeke only ran 5 routes last week, so yeah. I mean, I just answered my own question, I guess.
Yeah, he's had 6 targets the past 2 games, and he's playing against Miami. So you think those targets are going to continue? Pete, I'm sorry, Davis, did you get?
Brees, JT, you saying both of what Davis and I just said,
Yeah.
and then
And Ramondre.
I had Bijan.
Bijan.
Oh, Bijan.
Bijan is the one where if you don't care if you lose, which like you really shouldn't the way you're playing this, like Bijan, you should just play on every team because he should not be. I think Tuttle, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the algorithm views a game that you play and do shit in way worse than just missing a game entirely, and that's why his salary got nuked.
And boots
Yeah,
on the
I assume,
ground. Boots on the ground. This would be the game that Bijan would do well in because they're going to get him a lot of pass catching work. He's not going to be able to run a lot in between the tackles. So
Don't the Titans just not care anymore? Like, isn't it completely over?
I think so. But this is what I wanted. Sure, go ahead and try. But if it's not there, just cut your losses. And that's what they're doing. They traded Kevin Byard, Pro Bowl safety, to the Eagles. They're shopping Nuke and the King and anybody else they can. So I'm all in on this tank job. Let's go and get Caleb Williams or Drake May.
It's too late.
All right. What's that?
It's too late for that. They've won. Don't they already have 2 wins?
No way, dude. Bajan's going undefeated rest of the season.
Have you seen the stuff about his dad? His dad's
Yeah, dude.
electric.
Yeah.
He is very electric.
The
Best
the,
left-handed
interview.
arm wrestler
Yeah.
in the world.
Did you see the clip Tuttle with him and Pelissero when he arm wrestled
Yeah.
him? So funny.
Dude is a natural. He
They
has
sh-
his own show or something, like maybe on YouTube or something. I don't want
Okay.
to speak, but he
Yeah.
apparently he has his own show or / documentary or something like that out there.
I gotta
All right.
check that out.
Tuttle, before you head out here,
Yeah, I'm about to head out.
give us your favorite wide receiver take.
Oh gosh, I got none.
And we need a terrible take. Come on.
Well, that could be.
I'll align the two, and we'll go with Mecole.
Wow. That is terrible.
It's not
I
the
thought
it's
you were
not
gonna
the
say
worst
terrible.
terrible take of all
He's
time.
gonna grow. I think so maybe if it's at the expense of Justin Ross, it's at the expense of him. If it's at the expense of Tony, it's at the expense of him. But how does he not return to at least what his role was prior to?
He will. It'll be exactly what he was on the team last year.
Yeah, I mean he's never gonna get a full allotment of snaps, but he'll be like a 50% of the routes, and they'll be high value touches, like
we are
3,300.
so close to Kadarius Toney healthy scratch season. People don't even know how close we are to Kadarius Toney being healthy scratched.
Yep, it's coming.
Tuttle, do you have a pick for the pick'em college football?
I don't right
Oh.
now.
Boo.
The pick is don't take a line just for action, guys. There's got to be an edge there.
That's right.
Damn
The pick
right.
is sign up. The pick is to sign up for the
That
Props
was
pick'em package.
I've known Tuttle for a decade, and that was the funniest thing he's ever said.
The salute too to capitalize it.
I mean, like I'm full blown degenerate. It's more funny because Davis knows me and David knows
Yeah.
as well. Like I'm full blown degenerate and will play every single slate possible just for action, even if it's not a lot of money. So that's kind of why it's funny. But yeah, there was nothing projection wise for tonight, which was kind of disappointing.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, Tuttle.
We love
Go
you.
have
Tuttle.
a good UCL slate. If
Love
you
you guys.
if you love Tuttle, you'll like this video and comment and subscribe and everything else. Let's talk about wide receivers, and I specifically want to talk about some of these wide receivers that seems like they've been coming on lately. We've already talked about Jordan Addison, Josh Downs, Jalen Hyatt.
Downs like every slate. Downs just gets like 9 targets a week.
Yeah, like Pittman is legitimately disgruntled right now. Did you see the quotes from him? He wants the ball more
Do you know?
No.
Do you know why he's disgruntled?
because Josh Downs is getting all the targets.
He's too tall, dude. It's Short King Summer. Josh Downs, baby.
Walked right into that one.
Maybe if you want targets in the NFL, you should just learn. You got to be 5'8", brother. You're too tall.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean,
but,
you
like,
look. Yeah.
Would you rather have Downs or Deontay Johnson this week?
Downs. Deontay Johnson
Downs.
is poo-poo, dude. Deontay Johnson is like the worst player that we were ever psyoped by big NFL into thinking he's good.
He got 6 targets last week.
He's fine, but just from like that game environment, I mean, all of these Colts games are just absolutely drunk right now. Now you're at home at the Dome. Gardner Minshew plays like his pants are on fire. Love.
I'm going to take Downs. Or I'm going to take Johnson rather. I'm worried about that New Orleans defense, Davis. Aren't you worried?
I mean, I'm not worried about the defense. I am simply saying Deontay Johnson stinks, dude.
No, he's
Okay.
asking are you worried about the Saints defense as it pertains to the Colts offense?
No. Why
And
would
I'm
I
not.
ever be worried about a defense? Have you ever in your years known me to be like,
That's
I
why
don't
I
know,
was-
dude. Okay.
That's why I was just
My-
The
checking.
Jags
It's a
had
vibe
no
check.
problem moving the ball against the Saints last week.
Yeah, the Jags are playing Pittsburgh this week, and the
And
Colts were
Pittsburgh
playing
gave
New
the
Orleans,
Rams fits.
and the Colts are playing New Orleans.
I'm excited.
Right.
I'm excited to play the Jaguars wide receiver 5, Calvin Ridley, outscored by Tim Jones last week.
And now get Zay Jones back.
All right.
The Calvin Ridley, I'm obviously in a DM thread with Liam, who is just coping massively on our main event team that has Calvin Ridley, and he's posting these splits with Zay Jones on and off, like because all of Calvin Ridley's good games have come when Zay Jones was active. Know what? Liam is a legit master of cope. Like he
Ask
should
Brian Burke if that's a noisy split stat, Liam.
All right. Any other wide receivers like or not any other? Who are the high end wide receivers that you guys like this week?
I mean, Tyreek is just
He's
always a
9,500. We know what Bill does to alpha wide receivers.
Bill, dude, you want to talk about
Bill's
a guy
washed.
who doesn't know ball anymore? A guy like what is? I guess that's not fair. They beat the Bills last week,
They
but
just beat the Bills.
they still stink to me. I'm not sweating that at all.
We also like just like points per dollar on the high end. I mean, AJ Brown, 5 straight games with 125 plus yards receiving, and this Commanders team just gets absolutely gutted by wide receiver ones. It was the DJ Moore week. We saw even Darren Waller, who's their de facto wide receiver 1, have a big game. Like AJ Brown's going nuclear in this spot.
All right. What about CD Davis?
I mean, I can talk myself into CD and Pollard any given slate. I don't know. Like, I guess the tough thing about CD is that if I am LARPing on a wide receiver who never scores any points but projects really well every week, I think I'd rather LARP with Jalen Waddle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm only playing like 5 teams these days. Like I'm doing like all the red zones and then the big spy and then one of the little spies. So I don't just have like infinite lineups to be like, oh, I'll play CD Lamb on this one, you know?
That's me.
Can someone tell me why Brandon Ayuk was targeted like 7 times in the first half, had 5 catches, and then just 0 in the second half.
Because Brock Purdy had a meltdown.
Kyle Shanahan is a LARP. That's why.
God, that was frustrating. All right. Jamar or AJ Brown?
AJ Brown.
I got Jamar because I think the steam will end up. AJ Brown will be 23% owned Sunday morning, and
well,
Chase
Jamar's
will be
playing against the Niners.
Yeah, that's what I think. Not that I have a crystal ball, but that is just.
But if
my
they
guess.
target Tre'Davious Ward like the Vikings did, am I right?
Now again, I do want to make this point because we are still in Chalktober and we haven't gone to No Sim November yet. That probably the number one thing I've learned from looking at sim stuff this year is that probably the dumbest thing that people who think they're smart like me say is, oh, just play the guy that's lower owned. And it really doesn't bear itself out that way in the Sims.
I've been telling you that
way.
for 10 years, Davis.
The Sims were David's braid all along.
But like for example,
Sims confirm that.
So this would be an example that let's say Jamar Chase is projected for 19.3 points and AJ Brown is projected for 21.2 or whatever. The Sims would say those 0.9 points are way more valuable than AJ Brown being on 115 less teams in your contest, basically.
Okay. I've got 2 bad takes.
Only 2?
Yeah, right. First, a guy that had 10 targets last week that's under 4K. You want to guess who that is?
Is it like Kendrick Bourne or something?
He didn't have a game like Kendrick Bourne did. It was Michael Gallup.
By the way, I got to give a shout out to Sosa. Great marketing here, pulling the clip of me being like, I wonder what it's like being in the mind of someone playing Kendrick Bourne. And then David was like, Kendrick Bourne, pretty good play. That was very good content.
All right. But Michael Gallup is 3,800, had 10 targets. He was not dialed in last week. But again, if we're going stars and scrubs, he looks like a guy that could be in the scrub category that you would want to play.
I actually don't hate that day. I get this game. I'm very intrigued by, right? Like everyone just got burned by Cooper Kupp. Davis, like, have we seen the Cowboys really get pushed in a game where they had to throw the ball a ton yet? I mean,
the only game where they got really pushed, they got pushed too far. Against the 49ers. Well, and they were losing the entire time to Arizona, and the offense was fine. They made 7 straight trips to the red zone without a touchdown against Arizona. You could say the Cowboys have not played a normal game yet this season.
Okay. My other take is a narrative-based one.
Not you.
Yes.
You finally pulling your nose out of the spreadsheets. Wow.
That's right. DeAndre Hopkins is 5,500. They are going to force feed him in an effort to showcase him so they can trade him next week.
God damn it. I actually kind of like this take.
Except everyone trading for DeAndre Hopkins already knows he's good. They're not, it's not like, no, I'm not playing any Will Levis wide receiver. It's not happening.
Could I introduce you in a 7,500 Derrick Henry?
No. Dude, I mean, these are all guys I think are smashes in that range. Liam, if you're listening, turn it off. Calvin Ridley, I actually do think is like an unbelievably good play at 5,800. I think he might end up being a chalk slappy play. I think his stuff is like he's going to get touted.
Let the chalk slappies play Joe Mixon and Calvin Ridley and see.
He might be. I think Ridley is going to be saved by the fact that Addison and Zay Flowers are there, and then the real. Bros will play T Higgins at 5,900. So he's got some salary protection there. Nico, I would straight up play over Hopkins. Revenge game, David. Can I give you some narrative revenge game for Marquise Brown against the Baltimore Ravens?
Oh yeah,
ooh,
for sure.
Kitchen.
I mean, projections are going to love Marquise Brown too.
You need to hop in some underdog drafts this week. Derrick Henry is going ahead of Bijan right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Pittman? If we're going narrative based, squeaky wheel.
Nah,
No.
dude, short king summer, too tall.
They just didn't target me today for whatever reason. Maybe I'm not a big part of the offense. Those are his quotes.
Maybe I'm
last
too big, is what the second part of that quote said.
He takes up too much of Gardner
Dude
Minshew's peripheral vision.
took a slant 75 yards to the house.
Dude, if Puka Nacua was 5'9", this would have been the shortest of summers of all time. I mean, really,
I think we could still chalk up Puka to the short
No,
king side.
Puka is big. I think Puka is like
He's thick. He's low-key thick.
He's like 218 pounds. I will tell you the gold star lock of the week. If you don't play this guy, you don't know ball and you don't know Sims. Jalen Hyatt, $3,100 against the New York Football Jets.
I mentioned him
game with a 36.5 total. Oh my god.
Jalen Hyatt, all Jalen Hyatt does is run 9 routes, but unlike Demarcus Robinson and Chris Hogan and stuff, he actually does get 2 of those targets per game. He had 75 yards last week and was some outstretched fingertips away from converting one to a touchdown.
He had 75 yards on 2 catches. That's the thing.
That's what we actually want. That you actually want that from a $3,100.
You're talking about your friends who enjoy the over yards, under catch, single game parlay threat. What do you call it? Thread the needle.
Thread the needle.
Thread the needle. That's Jalen Hyatt.
Well, Marvin Mims is actually the perfect one, but so I shocking no one, the books have realized what people are doing and they have adjusted the odds on these to a much more normal range. But you know what didn't do? They didn't do the math for the reverse thread the needle, which is like Wan'Dale Robinson over 7 catches under 35 yards. So the reverse thread the needles are still there.
The thread the needles, what Dave was talking about is your big plays. So you'd be like Pittman under 4 catches, but over 60 yards and hoping that he
I got
75-yard touchdown.
David, I'll tell you.
And you pair it with a touchdown too, is what you were saying too.
So I did a Rashid Shaheed under 3 catches or under 2.5 catches over 90 yards plus a touchdown.
Yeah.
2 for 85 and a touchdown.
This is the equivalent of saying he's a best ball play, right? Like, you just don't know.
We're just trying, buddy. We are just trying to claw it back from the books $1 at a time.
I love this for you, David. I think in a few years, Ben Mesrich is going to be writing a book similar to how he wrote it about the MIT guys bringing down the house, but it's going to be called Reverse Threading the Needle, how Davis Mattek took the sports books for millions of dollars.
Well, the only one I hit on, I got too greedy and I altered it to 90 yards, so I didn't even win.
I'm just thinking about
I didn't even win is the most Davis Mattek sentence.
I'm just thinking about the analogy of threading the needle and like what a reverse thread the needle would be.
You should have brought that up when you had Ed Miller on, Davis. I would have loved to have heard.
I did bring it up.
You didn't say reverse thread the needle.
No. He doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know the nitty gritty, but I gave him the example. All right, I'll give the people one other example to look for. Nate from the Deposit Kingdom has been doing these where you go over the game total, under on passing yards for one of the quarterbacks, but then over on the receiving yards for just one of his wide receivers. So you're basically like Keenan Allen does all the heavy lifting, Josh Palmer does nothing or whatever. The Dolphins are the team that Nate does this on and has success because you take the under on. Jalen Waddle, obviously.
Want to mention that this is not financial advice and to please bet responsibly.
No, we're just trying to get action in, and these are really good because you could
guys. If there's not an edge in the market, you just gotta not wait and move on to the next thing.
Right.
Nate in the Deposit Kingdom won $29K on like a 13 leg thread the needle over type parlay. So
okay, and you can do that just on the desktop web version of Parlay IQ on Scores and Odds. You can actually set your score for what you think it's going to be, and then it'll give you the sims for.
I can only imagine what Parlay IQ would do with some of this dog shit that I've been shoveling into the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
And it gives you like what the projected odds should be on that. So
I wonder if I could get it to give me 1 billion to 1 in the Parlay IQ.
I don't know. All right. Let's build a FanDuel lineup really quick. This is like speed.
Like exceedingly quick.
Yes. Speed building.
No, I don't got anywhere to be. We could take our time.
I do.
Davis.
I do. Daddy does. All right. So you can see in the
Did
wide
you have
receivers.
anything to do, Davis? You have had to have spent like 6 hours sending dynasty trade offers. This week.
Yeah.
I got on the Stairmaster this morning and shipped out like literally probably 50 trades.
Dynasty
Wow.
Trade Cardio Club. That's a depressing thought.
Okay. Who do we want to stack?
On
It's not a stack,
FanDuel,
but I have a guy that I want to go to. I don't think we mentioned him at all when we were talking running backs.
Okay.
I want to go back to the Kenneth Walker specifically on FanDuel if I can
Against
log into my
Cleveland?
account. That's the whole point, Dave.
Gross. Okay. Fine.
You are such a matchup, bro. Aren't you worried about the Saints? Aren't you worried about Cleveland?
Well, his price tag is also
is literally-
85. Is 8,500. He's not cheap.
Did you just see what the Colts running backs did to the Browns secondary or defense last week?
That's a good point.
Don't worry about it.
I've gotten into this place with David where I understand him much more ever since I've realized that he is the everyman. David is who the Fox Sports NFL pregame is for. And once you
That's
realize
why I've been
that
telling
about
you
David,
this.
you
I've been telling
learn-
you this. I represent the people, not the everyman. I'm a man of the people.
Totally.
And
This is a man who's
sometimes-
not afraid to go on a cruise ship and crush that buffet. This is not.
I haven't
this is
been on a
man who's
cruise.
not
I'll put it
afraid.
on the record. I haven't been on a cruise since when I first got married, so 14 years ago. But still, I'm not hating on a cruise. It just
I bet
shocks me that
you're-
you've never been on a cruise. Like Pete,
Which
I
is
can
the
see
ki-
you. I can see you like having your hair braided, like Michael Scott.
Like I went to Mexico, like the 12-year-old girls when they come back from Cancun.
Well, it's like the Bahamas, like Michael Scott when he has the little braid
Yeah.
and the steel drums.
All
I can
right.
see that for you. Okay. Kenneth
let us
Walker, we still don't have our stack.
Yep. We'll get there.
Davis.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to take the quarterback now since we've all been such scaredy cats about taking the quarterback.
Let's go.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna take.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll take Dak and CD.
Oh, David.
Yeah,
What,
let's do it.
what were you gonna do, Davis?
I was gonna take Lamar and Zay.
Oh, real original, Davis.
All right, no, that's fine. That's fine. And we should do Small King as our bring back.
You don't have to
Who's
do
that?
bring back. Sims told you that, and I told you that 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, dude. Tell me you did not lose your mind when he literally high pointed a touchdown in an NFL game. Like that was it was beautiful. Sosa does know who the short king is. There we go. All right, yeah,
The
that's my pick.
touchdown that was meant to go to Cooper Kupp that
Yep.
Tutu sniped.
Yeah.
And he said as he cut it, he's like, "Short King Summer,
Short
dude,"
King Summer,
and then
dude.
flipped the bird to Cooper Kupp. Too tall.
I want to meet.
All right.
I want to meet him someday. I feel like we'd have a lot in common. You know, about overcoming obstacles as short kings.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, Pete, you're
I
back.
can't
Up.
believe we're playing 2-2 on FanDuel.
All he
All
does
right.
is score touchdowns.
All right, Pete.
We didn't get this guy in on the other lineup, right? Can we get Jonathan Taylor in over here?
Yes. I like him this week.
He's a good play on FanDuel.
All right. Let's put Kittle in as our tight end.
Aren't you worried that National Tight End Week maybe leaves him a little bit hungover?
No, he's 6,100.
Aren't you worried though?
No, not at all.
Can I use a veto on this?
No,
I won't allow it.
Okay.
Sorry.
we got to
All
go.
Why are
right.
you so opposed to Kittle?
Yeah.
I want to play Trey McBride, brother.
No, not on FanDuel.
Not on
Veto.
FanDuel,
It's
Davis.
white. It's white slow tight end week, dude.
No. Canceled.
I've been told. No, I don't play on FanDuel. I've been told that you just play the best tight end on FanDuel.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
No,
One
you
of the
do.
best. One of the
You
best
do.
tight ends.
It's legit.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna
Falcons
take,
defense. Falcons defense. Let's just plug that in so we know the two leftover salaries. They're 3,900.
What
Really
about when
cheap.
DeAndre Hopkins hangs 204 on him?
Yeah. They could be forcing him the ball, forcing some pick sixes.
All right, I'm
honestly.
gonna give us the ability to play whoever we want at flex because I'm gonna select a completely unowned on FanDuel Rashee Rice for 6,000 FanDuel dollars.
Gross.
What does that leave us? 7,900.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pollard, baby. Just
Pollard.
onslaught.
Pollard. Let's do it.
And
Let's
the
do it.
onslaught. Anytime you can put your tournament life in the hands of Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer, you got to do it.
Let's
commit to
do it. All right. Really quick, tight ends. You guys are on board with Trey McBride?
Yeah, big time.
DK for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Davis, he's gonna be the cash game tight end, right?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Because all the cash game bros need to see, it's not enough for them to see the increase in routes, as evidenced by the fact that McBride and Mayer were not really that owned last week, but they need to have the impediment actually entirely removed, right? Kyle Pitts, 3,300, no one's interested. Next week, 3,500, after he scores once, then we can, the cash game bros, we are a simple people, Peter.
It's a bummer that the Bills aren't on here, so you could get, because you would have had massive McBride cover with Kincaid.
Oh my God, I would have.
Dallas Goedert still seems too cheap at 4,600. It seems like he should be more than that.
I think that's a fair take.
He's the wide receiver 2 in this offense.
No, dude, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to abandon Devonta Smith. I'm not ready to abandon my short king.
I think multiple pieces in the Eagles passing offense can get there. I think 2 of the 3 can get there this week against the Commanders.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And Goddard's just going to be the easier one to toss into double stacks.
All right. Jonnu revenge game. Like Arthur Smith revenge game uses Jonnu against his old team.
I think they're just going to literally hand the ball off 47 consecutive plays in this game.
They're not. I'm telling you. Just listen to me. Okay. High-end receiver or tight ends, you got to choose between Kelsey, Hawkinson, and Andrews, price adjusted.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
The dude in 14 games versus Denver has like 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. And it's just like that is also, he's so good. Taylor's not going to be there though. Heard early boots on the ground. Taylor's not going to be there. So.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
Mr. I hate National Tight End Day is giving us alpha about Taylor Swift in attendance.
Oh, I love Taylor Swift. Very unironically, like she's the best. So
I'm just saying you and Dave aren't as different as you guys might think. You guys are a sucker for those little nuggets.
Davis is a sucker, a root of like a little sucker that comes out of the tree.
David is calling me a bulb. David is calling me a bulb off the Soccer Dave sucker tree.
Yeah, it's like you have suckers. Of course,
a sucker is born every minute, and David is the one who instructed all of them. For the moral of the story there.
Every time Dave gives a pick, a sucker loses its wings.
All right, final thoughts, Davis.
I mean, look, it's a massive 13-game slate. Whoever you think is going to be stone chalk is not going to be as stone chalk as you think. So go with God. Don't just play whatever the computer tells you to play because it's probably a good team.
Yeah, we're not going to have a Raheem Mostert or Kenneth Walker this week. Yeah, no, it doesn't exist.
Closest thing will be whoever the market decides out of those 6K running backs is like the play.
Yeah. And I think the best candidate just based on price would be Breece Hall. But when this game environment and like on the road and Zach Wilson will still give people the heebie-jeebies. Yeah.
We don't have the late night hammer, but we do the late afternoon hammer. And I'm just saying, just create one lineup with PMR. Just in case those first 9 games.
I had infinite amount of PMR last week, brother, and it did not do much.
I know. This week, though. We're due for some drama. All right.
And Dave, just so people know, can you kind of explain strategically why having a ton of PMR is something you recommend doing?
It's a mental framework. It's hedging your emotions because you obviously with 9 of the 13 games, 2/3 of the games being the early slate, if those games don't go off, you're going to be like feeling really bad about yourself. You have this one lineup that gives you a little bit of hope. And that's where the minutes remaining.
But doesn't it work both ways? And if a couple of the early games go absolutely nuclear and some of the chalk pieces, and
you have exposure to that. You have exposure to that is what I'm saying. Have one lineup have PMR.
Okay, so what you're saying is pick all the best plays in the 1 p.m. and then also have the best plays going in the 4 p.m. Mental health will be on point and you'll win a bunch of money. Easy.
In the
game.
3 max and the 5 max and the 20 max, make sure you have one of those lineups and just label it PMR.
We might be in the Sims era, but we are much more so in the golden era of David Kitchen
That's
DFS
right.
nuggets here.
And this is what the people need because I am the version of the Sims. Speaking of the new RG Sims product, pumped out the winning lineup last week, number 35, the 35th lineup would have been.
Did you have
If
it?
there's
Dave?
really good Sims, wouldn't it be the number 1 lineup?
No, that's not how it works, Davis.
If you use the product, wouldn't
David,
you have
wait,
had it as your
wait,
150
Peter.
set?
David, please
No.
explain to me.
No, we gotta go. We gotta hard out. I gotta.
David, come on.
I've got a hard out. We'll save it for next week. We don't want to. We'll have it at the beginning of the show.
Sim School with David next week.
Sim School, Soccer Dave Sim School will be here next week. Special shout out to everyone that joined us, for Tuttle that joined us earlier, for Sosa for producing, and we'll just end it on Pete. Your final thought.
Yeah, guys, I just want to remember, if you everyone wants to play DFS, but if you open up your DraftKings app and you're kind of looking at stuff and you don't think you have an edge on this slate, just skip it.
Just don't play it. Don't play it, and just refresh your Twitter timeline when
Let's
Bijan
go
Robinson
apple picking and let's look again next week. See if there's bigger edges, guys.
That's right. All right. We'll be here next week for your big edge. So tune in then. Again, thanks to Sosa. We'll see you next week here on the Swolecast on rotogrinders.com. Peace.